Hi, everyone. I'm so happy that you all came back, tuned in for another episode this week for That's So Good podcast. And today I'm here with my friend, Dennis Jackson, a regenerative medicine specialist that focuses on faith and science, but he also specializes in testing to get to know your story because, like, our whole story just really tells, like, a huge difference. No, redo. I'll cut that. I was trying to get somewhere and then I lost it. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming back and tuning in for another episode of That's So Good podcast. I'm here with my friend and health guru, I like to call him, Dennis Jackson. He's a regenerative medicine specialist that focuses on science and faith that specializes in testing to get to know your story.
Pleasure to meet you.
So, Dennis, your story is just like, honestly, it's so wild. I mean, I obviously know part of your story, so I'm so excited to share your health journey and your health testimony with the world because, like, I feel like every time I talk to you, like, you just tell me something new about health, or I just feel like I learned so much. And so, I guess I should start from the beginning. Like, what is your personal journey with health?
So, always was in sports, but I never thought about health. So I originally went to school just planning on playing sports. But when I was 19 years old, I I had a daughter, and I had full custody of that daughter. Was going to college. My grandfather got diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's ALS and prostate cancer, and my father that raised me actually passed from liver cirrhosis and many other issues. Um, and I just wanted to make a change. Like I felt called that I wanted to like break the chains off of all the health issues in my family, because that's just the beginning of the health issues that my family has. So I was going to school for business, but I just randomly started studying medicine through business school. Um, and my father passed away, like I mentioned. However, my grandfather with prostate cancer and ALS actually is still alive 18 years later. He became my first patient. Um, Never got rid of the ALS. It's really hard to get rid of, but he's lived a full life even after that. He got diagnosed. So it was something that's what kind of lit my passion. Um, After my passion, ignited, it was actually one of my first jobs after school, after I went to school for business. And I became a business consultant for a medical firm. And it's when I started my path. From there, I went back to school for biology. That medical group sent me back to school for biology, um, and I fell in love with it. From there, I studied psychotherapy. I've studied herbalism. I studied nutrition. I wanted to understand the mind and how we can overcome these genetic disorders, diseases that we have. And yeah, that's kind of what started it. So it's been 17 years now. I've been in the field and I've seen so many beautiful things. And we really truly can overcome anything as long as we believe it. Yeah.
Wow, that's so good. And before we get into a little more of the nitty gritty, how can you explain to someone what is a regenerative medicine specialist?
Yeah. Well,
Because I'm sorry, let me start that. Let me do it again. Um, so before we get into a little more of like the nitty gritty, what is a regenerative medicine specialist? Because it focuses on faith and science. Because I feel that so many people separate faith and science.
well, a lot of people understand the name regenerative medicine. It's the new understanding of finding the more natural ways. So there's a lot of medical doctors, especially now, kind of standing forward, wanting to teach people how to do things naturally. Um, and the reason I focus on the science and the faith, well, science, we have to have stats. We have to see it to believe it, right? So studying the blood, studying the body, doing scans of the spine, and even on the medicines that we use, like understanding them, like the science behind the medicines and the even science behind our body and how it works. Um, a lot of times people say with computers, like computers are far more advanced. Actually, computers just try to replicate us. We download, we buffer, we have viruses, and they just have unity, and that's why we can find things through computers so fast. But really, our body, if we first express unity within our inside our body, we start to have that communication that allows us to connect with the creator. So that then leads into the faith side. Uh, you know, I had some health issues in my past, which I actually ended, my life ended, and I felt like I met God, and He sat me back in my body with purpose. And I realized that no matter what I did, like I was the one that taught, I trained physicians. I was the one who worked with the top physicians. The top physicians nor myself could figure out what was wrong with my health issues. And um, yeah, without the faith part, no matter how much knowledge or wisdom I thought I had, I wouldn't be here today. So it's understanding the science, but the science leads you to the faith. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like you said it so beautifully because I feel that a lot of people like they always separate science and faith because it's just so different. Because you just walk by faith, you don't see it, but science like you can see it. So it's just wild that you can really just mix them both together, just to create something that really just helps people in all forms and aspects. Because and then really that's what we want. We just all want to live longer, be healthy, and while we're alive, just be our healthiest selves. And then, because your thing is like you specialize in testing to get to know our story. Why do you need to know our story for the testing?
Well, I always like telling the story of myself for how I originally stepped into the expansion of testing that I do now. I got COVID in 2020, and it pretty much activated every bloodline, genealogy, dis-ease that was in my family. So within a year time, I already had diabetes and head trauma um, and lupus. Within a year time, I had Sjorgen, celiac, Crohn's, chronic inflammation, parasitic poisoning, parasites. I literally felt like almost like snakes crawling in me every day, and the doctors couldn't figure it out. They don't specialize in parasites. And they thought I was crazy. I thought I was even going schizophrenic, to where, to be honest, I think I ended up being like schizophrenic at one point, because everyone told me I was crazy. I was throwing up all my foods, and I just couldn't see where my life was going. And I had 2 heart attacks. The first heart attack was with my daughter. Um, she called an Uber to get me to the ER. And that's when I realized that my health went too far, and I couldn't see or feel a way out of it. And I sent her back home to her hometown with the grandparents. And within 6 months, went bankrupt, lost all my medical clinics, and ended up being homeless. And at that point, a couple months later, is where I had my second heart attack. Once I had my second heart attack, that's where I said I met God, and He gave me choice to like come back with purpose, I feel like. And ever since that day I woke up, I've been on a sprint to find out how we can merge faith and science and testing together. That way we can all live a life that we can see our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and actually be healthy and be able to still do things. I always say I want to be like Moses. He climbed a mountain at 120 years old without any straps. Like, everyone thinks it's a hill. It's a mountain. I want to climb a mountain when I'm 120 years old without straps. And I think we all can. So the testing is what I found after I got zapped back in my body. Within a few months, I felt like God led me to this panel that I got done. It was 16 pages. And I realized, even me being in the medical field and a lot of doctors out there, they don't test for enough things. They don't test enough to know your story. And then within a month or two, I got led to medical devices that scan your body, scan your spine, scan your bioresonance, your whole biofeedback. Just like the Bible has energy that's alive, we have an energy inside of us that's alive. It runs through our veins, runs down our spine. And then we also have blood that tells a story. So just like Jesus himself, his blood tells a story. Our blood also tells a story. And I always joke around, but I used to say I knew Jesus before I read the Bible. And then when I read the Bible, I realized I didn't know Jesus. So unless we actually read our story, how are we ever supposed to know truly who we are? So a lot of people was running around trying to find out who they are simply because they never read their story. So I like to discover through blood and through the understanding of the bioresonance that's flowing through your body, the life force that's flowing through your body, where the lack of communication is. Anywhere there's lack of communication, it's confrontation. Even cancer itself, simply just lack of communication. Anything is just lack of communication. So if you look at it, find out where the lack of communication is, you can take away the confrontation and bring unity in your body. And it actually allows you to connect with your body and the source that created us a little bit more too as well.
Wow, I mean, I that's just probably the wildest story that I've personally heard of about COVID. Like how COVID, because I know COVID definitely, how do you say, like enhanced a lot of things inside of people, but that all those things happened to you. And mind you, you were what, like 31, 32 at that time?
33.
33, the Jesus
Yeah.
year. Wow, you resurrected. Like, let
I
me tell
literally,
you,
I literally had to get
you
crucified.
no, you literally got crucified and you resurrected and then you resurrected again. I'm just like two heart attacks in like a year's, not even a year span. And did you get the vaccine?
No,
No, this was just from COVID.
correct.
And how bad were your COVID symptoms? Just regular COVID.
Well, to be honest, there's actually a patent on a specific amino acid chain broken down called a peptide called thymosin alpha 1. It has a patent on COVID. Now, I knew of this and I didn't know what COVID was. So when COVID came out, we started supplying it to our patients and people weren't getting symptoms. So I actually started taking it and it completely uh, took away all my symptoms as I was having it. Me and my daughter got it. And I remember once I got it, I called my daughter and she's like, I have a fever. She was like visiting her grandparents over the weekend. And I remember jumping in the car and like driving like 100 miles an hour to get to her to give her thymosin alpha and give myself thymosin alpha. And it actually took away the symptoms. However, because I never got my testing done, I had lupus. And you couldn't have lupus and take thymosin alpha. So the symptoms of what COVID gave me never actually came out. But because I took something that I wasn't supposed to take because I didn't know my story, it actually completely disrupted my whole communication network in my body. And then I still got COVID. So the COVID also disrupts communication in the body. And it's called long haul COVID. And I had long haul COVID where I actually had collapsed lungs too. And
Because of COVID.
yeah,
Because of lupus.
no, I got the collapsed lungs from the COVID. Yeah, it's like the one thing I got from COVID. So because I didn't know my story, I took a product. Because I got COVID and was trying to do it in my own strength instead of understanding what stats my body's producing to understand what to actually take. So a lot of people are taking things and they don't even know why they're taking them. They're like, oh, this is great. This is semi-good. Do you actually know why you're taking it? Do you know what it's doing for you? Yeah.
And you said this peptide had a patent on COVID.
It did.
So, like right when COVID came out, they figured out that this worked for people with COVID. I guess you could. Or
Well,
how was that?
because FDA never approved thymosin alpha, so they actually never used it other than regenerative medicine clinics. And I actually own COVID clinics. So that's kind of how I got really deep into COVID. We used uh, exosomes, stem cells, and extracellular vesicles for long haul COVID, and also thymosin alpha 1.
And what time of the year did you get COVID? Because I know COVID was March 2020. When did you get COVID?
It was the summer of 2020. I actually came down Florida, and there was a massive outbreak in Florida, and I got it in Florida. Me and my daughter, because we came down here to launch one of our clinics, and went home and had COVID. I think it was from
Got
the
to
airport.
Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There are a lot
Wow.
of everyone was not flying because of those times, but I felt safe, and we had to fly for work, so I was like, let's get away. And then as we got here, an outbreak happened like the day later, and like Florida was like getting shut down at that time.
Did you come to South Florida, Central Florida, North
Fort
Florida?
Lauderdale.
Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's wild. And before this all happened, like since you were already working in the health field for about 10, 11 years at that point, how was your health before all of this happened?
Well, I looked great. Did bodybuilding, professional wrestling. Um, I thought I felt great. However, I did eat a lot of food, and that's where a lot of my pain come from. That's if I wouldn't have ate the way I ate and abused food the way I did, I would have most likely never had those issues when I had COVID. What we fuel our body with is truly the outcome of any dis-ease that we have with water and food. So our proper nutrition is very important. So I I actually, since I was 10 years old, I ate 15 to 20,000 calories a day. I mean, I graduated.
Wait, what? Okay, guys, mind you, Dennis is 6'7". He's a tall boy. You'd have 15,000 calories a day or
Yeah,
more?
I actually had a job at my high school. Well, no, my high school started 7th grade because I had to run to my school every morning at 5:30 in the morning. My aunt was a lunch lady, and they gave me 5 free lunches because I would unload the box truck and put the stuff in the freezer, grab the big boxes. So I had a job with them, and I'd get 5 free lunches, 5 free breakfasts, 5 free lunches. Then I get 5 meals before I left. So I left school with 15 meals ever since the day I was 12 years old. So it was something that,
Wow.
yeah. Now I found out later that was when we have things like that are deep wounds in our body. It's from a trauma. So I found out I ate all that food from my dad. The first time he ever smacked me when I was 7 years old, he said, "Eat all this food on your plate." He smacked me because I didn't, and my mom and my dad got into a fight, and the next day they separated. Now, as I got older, I realized that there was so much more than that, and that was just like the cherry on top, not even the icing. But our body is in fight or flight mode, which is, in other words, life or death. So on that day, I killed my family. So I made sure I ate as much food as possible because I wanted my family back. And when I had my daughter, I continued to eat that way because I wanted to keep my family that I had. So I represented food and family together, and that was my emotional pain was.
And you have always been tall. Would you say your whole
Yeah,
life? Like you've been tall?
yeah.
And you were always like in shape though. You never were never obese. You were never fat or
I had a year where I got pretty thick from an injury, and I still kept eating the same way I ate.
wow.
But I couldn't work out the way I did. But
Cause
pretty much since I was 13, I lived 2 days at the gym, and crushing fat burners, and um, I'd run 10 miles a day to maintain what I looked like to be, from what I would look in the mirror and be like, oh, this is amazing. But really, my insides were destroyed.
and would you be eating unhealthy?
I
Cause
started my day with 2 boxes of cereal. Yeah, and if I didn't get the at least 18,000 calories a day, I would chug chocolate milk at night, like a gallon, gallon and a half, until I got my calories.
wow. So and did you ever feel full and you would just keep eating?
Uh,
Or we just never
yeah,
satisfied? Like that
yeah,
feeling of just
it's
never satisfied, you
never
just keep eating.
satisfied. And as much as I worked out and as many fat burners and coffee that I drank, it would burn my food faster. because I would purposely drink like 2 cups of hot coffee after I ate, so it would actually process and speed up my metabolism. Take a fat burner 3 times a day, and so I was doing it to myself, and COVID just ignited everything that was already in something that I was already
Wow.
doing.
And you lasted like 3 decades of your life, 2 decades, more than 2 decades of your life
Yeah.
doing this. And the thing is, because you like looked fit and you were like, I guess, exercising a lot, but then you weren't eating healthy. You were just eating. Wow. I just like to eat. I know. I mean, I know you're super tall, but wow,
Yeah, I
that's
was
just insane.
245 coming out of high school. That's pretty big.
Is that big?
I was bigger than I am now,
Because how
like way
much do you
bigger.
weigh now?
230.
230.
Yeah.
And how much was your biggest when you said that you couldn't work
uh,
out?
295.
Oh, okay,
Well,
wow.
no, I got to 330 when I stopped working out because I went from, muscle to pizza. I
Right.
really enjoyed pizza and chili cheese dogs.
Wow.
But yeah, so when I stopped working out, I went up to 330. But fit and in shape, I was up to 290 in college.
So then, even though you learned all this health stuff in school, you were working with some of the biggest health doctors and physicians, you it just in your mind, did you know what you were doing was wrong, or did you just think, oh, it's not, it doesn't matter? Because I have a lot of doctor friends, like just normal doctors, and they're like not healthy people, and I'm like, how can you be telling people like what to do for health, but then you're not super unhealthy, but you're not really following what you're saying? So would you say it was kind of similar for you?
Yeah, let's be honest. None of us pay attention until we must pay attention, right? None of us pay attention until it's actually in front of us. And that's the great thing about mentors. Like if I would have had a mentor or even a father that was raising me, I might be able to pay attention to those things. But I never paid attention to those things. I thought I was unstoppable. Um, everyone else would eat McDonald's and have a hurt stomach. I could eat 8 Whoppers from Burger King and feel like I got more energy off of it. And what it was is it was a comfort to me because when I ate, I used it as comfort. So then I felt great, but I still didn't know what I was doing to my body. And to further explain why people don't feel what they're doing to their body is because it causes inflammation. And just like you get a sprained ankle, it causes like a numbness at first. Your ankle's not in a lot of pain that first day you sprain your ankle.
Mm-hmm.
The next day you feel your bones aching. The inflammation went away. So inflammation's there to protect you, but also numb you. And so when we eat these bad foods, we get numb from what we're actually doing. So a lot of people and a lot of doctors and nutritionists even, they just fall in this category that nothing's going to happen to them and until it does.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a really great way of putting it. That like it just numbed you. That's why you could just be eating and eating and eating. Did your parents ever realize? I mean, I know you said your parents separated, but did you live with one or the other?
Yeah, I live with my mom and then I live next to my grandma. And the thing is at the end of the day, my whole family had an eating disorder. So it
Okay.
was normal for my grandma to make me 10 sandwiches for lunch, like fried bologna and cheese sandwiches, 10 of them. Like that was a normal lunch meal on a weekend if I was coming over her house. And she would literally use a loaf of bread for me.
I was literally gonna ask like if your family noticed it, but they were kind of inhibiting it. So would you say that they showed their love through food, so that's why they didn't see it as a problem?
100%. Because I already had that pain inside my bloodline that with the food and the issue with my father just spiked my pain inside me. But I remember after I overcame my food addiction, which was after I died, I realized I didn't want to do that to myself anymore. And I separated from food, became a vegan for a year, vegetarian for a year, a fruitarian for 6 months, and separated from my flesh desires on food. And I remember going back to my grandparents for a holiday, and she was crying because I wouldn't eat her food. Like she was actually bawling, and she thought I was dying because I wouldn't eat her food. But at that point in time, I was the healthiest I've ever been. So it was really deep into my bloodline that food was everything for us.
And was your is your family like heavier, or are you all just those people that are just very slim and don't gain weight but eat bad?
No, most of them were heavy. I was definitely like I looked like the black sheep because it was like, oh,
Be slim and tall.
bulky, lean, and into working out. And the rest of my family is just very overweight, very not healthy, and eating bad food.
Yeah, cause and I can relate with this because like I definitely had a not good relationship with food growing up. Definitely not at this level. I don't think I could eat 10 sandwiches a meal. I'm also like like a foot shorter than you, so I totally understand that for you like food like makes you happy or food is love. Like with my grandma, like I got heavier a summer. My sister and I stayed with her. Because I'm half Colombian, half Cuban, and my Cuban side, it's all about food is love, right? Because for them in Cuba, there was no food after the communism happened, so they would show their love through food and like overfeeding. Like, oh, now we're in America, there's food. You have to eat everything on the plate and more. We're gonna feed you like an adult as a child. Like you're gonna eat everything, and if you don't eat it, you feel bad about it. And if I would be like, no, I'm full, they'd get like the spoon and be like, eat for your mom, eat for your dad, eat for your grandma. You're like, well, I can't not eat for these people because then something's gonna happen. And you're like, I can't eat for if I don't eat, my dog's gonna die. Like that was my mentality as like a child, because they would and my grandma, but then my Colombian grandma was like the total opposite. She'd be like, "You're getting fat. Stop eating." Like no. So it's just so extremes, and it was just like, and like I was like a beautiful child, and then I got like heavier, like when I was 7. And it definitely affected me throughout my life, like my relationship with food. And then my mom and dad would battle about it. 'Cause my dad would be like, they're growing, let them eat. My mom would be like, no, they're children. Like, they shouldn't be eating like adults. So, like, I definitely understand in some way about like the family with food and relationship and like culture. So I think I definitely trained me a lot for whenever I have kids. So be like, okay, food is delicious. Thank you God for all the food, but it's it's not love. Like it's just delicious. And also my Cuban grandma cooks really, really good. So at least it was delicious. But so I definitely understand that. And then when you like my time when I told my grandma no, like I don't want to eat this much, and she just got so sad. And you like feel bad because you break your grandma's heart, but you're like, it's my health. Now I'm like I'm a super like you can call me a health freak or Nola, whatever common like these words people say nowadays because I'm super healthy. um but like I learned through the testimony, like we all have our own journey with food, to maybe learn as to why like I shouldn't be like so my feelings are not towards food and stuff. So then with your family, like have you did you try to guide them in a certain way, like hey, like I this happened to me, let's try to all fix our relationship with food, or were they just hesitant about it?
Yeah, they most of them, other than my mom, they do not eat healthy. Um, yeah, none of them actually eat healthy other than my mom. I mean, it took a while for my mom, but they all have those diseases like celiac, Crohn's, cancer. Um, there's down the line. There's so many I could speak of, but they don't even know it's from food. They're like, no, that's just in our bloodline. Like we genetically have this, and I'm like, actually, in genetically in our bloodline, we eat bad food. And when I realized I stepped away from my bloodline is the day I stepped away from the eating patterns, the eating habits. But yeah, they, they don't eat healthy, and they still don't eat healthy. Yeah.
And does it, because I feel like I understand that 'cause it's kind of like a battle with my family and food, even though they're not like unhealthy, but they could be healthier. Do you think it's caused maybe like a drift between you and your family now that you're not showing your love through food, you're maybe showing your love through other ways?
Um, in a way, because I just moved here to Florida before all that, so in a way, I feel like God aligns me to move away from the bad patterns. Because when you're trying to overcome those patterns, think of like any addict. Like you don't put someone that does cocaine or heroin in the same room that people still do cocaine and heroin. So could I have ever been a vegetarian or a vegan or a fruitarian around my family the way they eat? No, I couldn't have. Um, and it was really hard just going for the holidays, but I built up the strength on changing my habits on the daily before I'd go back and face those bad habits. Yeah.
And now your daughter, you said she's with her grandparents in
Well, she's
Pennsylvania.
in college now.
Oh, she's in college. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
she
Go
just turned
her.
18. She's
Love
going to
that.
college. So
So before then, she was with you sent her to be with her grandparents.
yeah.
And would you say like have you been trying to teach your daughter, like raising her to change her food habits to maybe a bit healthier
Yeah, so
food habits?
that was a real hard thing to see my reflection, because when we have those traumas, we give those traumas to our kids, just like it was given to me. My daughter ate with me. Like, I mean, she would eat at age 8 25 chicken wings as I ate 100, and she'd be 8 years old. Like, we would go at sushi and she would get 3 to 4 rolls and she was 4 years old. And so she ate and ate and ate, and she was lean, lean. We worked out all the time. She was doing things for like the Olympics, for training for Olympics. She
Wow.
was she did Kempo, Krav Maga, Jiu Jitsu, Tung Soo Do. Like, we were always doing things. So she looked amazing. People were like, "How she look like that at that age?" And the food got her that size, and then the training is what made her look the way she did. And she just got caught up in the same world I got caught up. So by the time she was 14, she actually had lupus, and she had celiacs as well. Degenerated tissue in her knees, because once we eat the foods that we eat, our body stops producing the amino acid chains that are the messaging codes to teach our body how to heal. So where if we had a hurt knee, our body is supposed to remember how to heal. It can't if you're damaging your body with the foods. So now she's actually had many health issues as well. And it's in a way, it's like, man, like, why did that have to happen? Because I put my traumas on her. But it's really cool because I seen the other side where I'm at, and now I'm watching her go through those same things. And in the last few years, not because of me, because of her own decisions, she actually eats extremely healthy and has now been following the same path as I have, without like, she didn't want to hear from me anymore about health. Like, she wanted to do what she wanted to do. So I had to step away a long time ago, and allow God to take over. But it's cool because of her health issues, she's finding the same patterns. Now, I wouldn't want to do that to my future kids, but it's really cool to share that experience with my daughter. Like, hey, we went through the same pain, and I'm sorry that I put you through that pain, because I'm the one that ignited it, and the same on and so forth with my mom to my father, then to my grandparents on both sides, and so it's a blessing as well. Anything that we do through darkness in our dark hour can be glorified in God, and we can bring back glory through it. So God's going to use what she had to go through, but it took a while for her to get there.
Well, I'm really happy, grateful that she figured it out young versus going through another 20, 30, 40 years like with this. And especially if she got diagnosed with all those things so young, like thankfully you got it checked it out beforehand, and now she's in university and like healthier than she was probably as a child. And then since you said you were eating a lot, but it was not like you're eating like stuffing your face with chicken and vegetables, you're stuffing your face with like unhealthy things, which probably made it worse versus like stuffing your face with fruits, vegetables. Um, you said at one point that you were a fooditarian. What is a fooditarian? Oh,
Fruitarian.
fruititarian. I heard food and I was like, fooditarian. What
I
is
just did
that?
fruit for 5 months.
Only
Only
fruit.
fruit.
And was that okay for your health?
It was extremely great for my health.
Uh,
Yeah, because my body needed it. And that's the thing. A
Wow.
lot of people will try doing things, but I studied my body, and I knew it would do well with that.
Wow. And then you went from like vegan, vegetarian, fruitarian, and then you've kind of found like the beautiful middle ground.
Yeah, the middle ground is we go through seasons.
Mhm.
So my body tells me what it wants. When apples are falling, we're supposed to eat apples.
Right? For
When apples are
seasonal.
not falling, we're not supposed to eat apples. So I go in a store, and I get excited when I see certain things, and I've learned how to communicate with my body on what my body needs for that week, and understand that our body, if it's lacking vitamin C, then we're going to go towards oranges, and so on and so forth. So it's like, now I can replenish myself because I restored the communication in my body to eat what my body is actively seeking.
And so Dennis and I actually go to the same church, Antioch in Miami, and I'm in the discipleship program. He's gone through it already. He's one of the leaders now, so that's how we met, and all of this like happened. His girlfriend she's the one that told me about the testing he does and all these things. Because before I would hear you say like the health scans. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about, these health scans? But it was like very in passing, so I didn't know what it was. And you said that you met God, if I'm not mistaken, like after one of your heart attacks. So before that, did you not know God, or you found him with that beautiful encounter?
I went to church on holidays and once a month. Um, I think before I died, I was going like 3 times a week. Um, I didn't know him. There's a difference from walking in church and actually knowing him and knowing his voice. It expresses in the Bible that the sheep know the shepherd's voice. I didn't know his voice. I think I know I spoke to him my whole life, but I never heard back other than seeing signs. I always paid attention to the signs, like, oh, this happened, had a God, this happened. I didn't know he can actually speak to us directly, that he was a living God. And I didn't know how he felt about me. And I didn't know how I felt about him. And I would pray for the things that I needed prayer for when I needed it. I didn't know to actually go to him and seek him, even when I don't need it, to be a servant for others. And so after I died, I always say I received this connection with him that will never leave me. And I wanted to learn how to speak to him directly, and for him to become a friend and draw him near. So I can, it's like most people don't think about asking, but like, you want this from God, but what does God want from you? And that's my mission now. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Like, he gave me choice to come back on this earth. He guided me to blood work. He guided me to bioresonance frequency machines. He guided me through life. And he's actually showed me, even where the Holy Spirit has been with me my whole life and guided me, and it, like, almost like took me back through time to understand how much they were there for me. And it allowed me to realize that I don't want to do nothing other than with them. So even my company is called I Am Wellness, which is God's name before any name. And I launch franchises, well, umbrella companies, partnership companies. And like next week I launch I Am BioWell. It's still God's name before any name. So I'm in the medical field. I don't do consulting for companies anymore, but I launched the I Ams as a way to glorify God and bring people back to their state of communicating and unity within themselves and with the one that created them.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So it's good that you were already a believer before. You just didn't have a relationship with God, and now like you have a beautiful relationship with God, and God has used you to like heal people, and He's done so much work through you, and it shows for sure. Like it shows like your love for community and for Jesus. Like you're like the most helpful person at church. Like you're so sweet, and you're always just like, do you need something? And you like do it without like asking, like so it's like when like I can definitely feel like God's presence around you, which is like so beautiful, because sometimes it's just crazy that so many of us we like find a relationship with God after something crazy traumatic, So, but that's okay. That's part of our testimony. God put us through all of this because He knew we could handle it, but now we're handling it with Him. So it's just like it's so much better. But before so you started off more like consulting, basically in your 20s
Yeah, doing consulting on the patient journey,
on the patient
like
journey.
understanding how to bring a patient in, how to speak to them, because doctors don't go to school on how to speak to patients.
Right.
And realistically, if we don't understand the doctor, we're not going to move forward or even understand what we're doing. And so I built protocols through the operations side of things to how to bring in a patient, how to get them proper education material, and how to speak to them. Yeah.
And then from there, when you had your health problems, then you switched more into the like health scans and really knowing your story.
Yeah, I went back to school for biology, and then after I had my health issues, that's where I started studying psychotherapy, overseas, herbalism, and nutrition, because I wanted to understand the body deeper. And I studied water a lot too. Water's extremely important. Um, but that's where I started after I had my passing is when I was led to start working with health scanners. And what's cool is that health scanner actually finds things before the blood work actually finds it.
So who? There's just so many questions just in that statement that I like thinking of asking you, but because I definitely want to get into the water, like ask you about water, because I know we've had already conversations about water, and I love talking about water too. So it's just so I love it. So then, where have you like what schooling have you had? I know you said you went abroad and you did schooling in America. So what countries outside of America have you done schooling? You said herbalist and
I traveled Dominican Republic for all
mm.
that.
So it's like
Yeah.
in America and DR.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not expect you to say DR. I thought you were gonna say like Peru or Mexico or something, because you know they're definitely more into that field. And how did you find out about the school in DR?
Well, I started launching medical facilities for retreat centers, and I moved out there. And when I moved out there, I had the blessed opportunity to study under many.
Oh, that's so nice. And this was after the second heart attack. So thankful, I'm so grateful you lived past these two heart attacks. Like, so you like felt it happening. These heart attacks, you felt it happening, and then when you got to the hospital, they're like, yeah, you had heart attacks. And then were they able to ever pinpoint where the heart attacks came from or why, or is it just all because of the COVID um like treatment you took?
Yeah. Well, that's where we can shift the water. Uh, when you're not drinking proper water and you're not eating the proper foods, our bodies naturally produce minerals, electrolytes, naturally. Just like trees produce water, we produce water. That's why you can actually go without a period of time without water, because we produce our own. When we're drinking water that's dead water, that's filtered water, we're actually pulling out and using the restroom and actually letting go of our own minerals. And when we eat bad foods, it causes inflammation that uses our minerals as well. And literally, I had something in my mind before I had my heart attack that I was gonna die of a heart attack from being too dehydrated. And it was like 4 weeks later. That was my first death. Was in the hospital, waking up to an IV um, bag in my arm, and them telling me that I had a heart attack, and me ripping everything out of my arm because my daughter wasn't there, and actually literally walking out of the hospital without even checking out and never going back.
And this was in Miami?
Yeah, and Coral, I was in the Uber, and then I went out, and then I woke up to an IV bag, and my daughter not being there, and ripping everything out of my hands and checking myself out
So
to get back to my daughter.
wow. So basically, from the first heart attack, you didn't even see the results, nothing. And then, so you were over consuming food. Were you over consuming water as well?
Oh yeah, and taking diuretics for bodybuilding and consuming 3 or 4 gallons of water because they tell you should drink a lot of water. I drink a liter of water a day, and I'm the most mineralized person and hydrated person that I know. If I'm doing a lot of activity, I might drink 2 liters, but it's of good water. The more water we drink and it has no minerals in it, the more we're flushing out our own minerals. So many reasons. Every health issue causes inflammation. Inflammation causes us to use our own electrolytes. We're doing bad water. We're not consuming the right electrolytes. So it was a series of many things, but it all came back to my heart stopped because I had no life in my water, and I had no breath of life, oxygen in my water, because oxygen sits in water too as well.
So what water were you consuming before?
Regular water.
Just like tap
I would
water?
even do distilled water, which is extremely bad for you.
Distilled water.
Distilled water, regular water, like when it's
Like tap water?
well, no, tap water actually has a little bit of minerals in it, but it has a lot of other toxins. Um, but it's filtered water. Everything that you buy from the grocery store, it's filtered, has nothing in it, which means it's dead water. Water's supposed to be alive, and if you drink dead water, it actually goes in, and its first response is to grab the minerals in your body. And when you use the restroom, you actually empty out minerals.
Oh, wow. So then what popular brands are distilled water? Or is that usually just like going to the store and getting like the Publix
Well, you
distilled
don't want the
water?
distilled water. I was drinking distilled water, which is not good, and regular
So
water.
people can like avoid it.
Yeah, I drink distilled water because bodybuilding required it with that diuretics and all
Oh.
these things. So
And Cause like Zephyr Hills is spring water.
Yeah,
Like is there any popular brands that's distilled water, or I feel like they're usually purified water?
yeah, it's just no popular brands.
No
Yeah.
popular brands. What about purified water?
Well, purified water is filtered water,
Mm-hmm.
so it's dead water. You drink dead water, you're in a you're gonna flush your system out with its own minerals. So you're not gonna have your minerals. And a lot of people worry about the food that they eat. When if they actually drank the proper water, even if we ate bad food, we'd flush out whatever bad food that happened. It's what minerals are electrolytes. Electrolytes are the electricity of our body. So it's the main source of electricity that helps our body communicate. So now if I have bad food, that's okay. My body will flush it out because I'm properly mineralized and I have the proper nutrition in my body. We can't run from the world we live in, but even people talk about plastic. Like I could drink bottle water from plastic because I'm properly mineralized. I'm gonna flush out whatever plastics are in my body because my body has dominionship on this earth. So plastic can't harm me. But if I'm actually actively doing bad things to my body, I then don't even have dominionship over my own body for it to flush things out. So if our body's communicating properly, we can every once in a while do whatever we want in the sense of like food or water or drinks, and we'll still be able to our body will communicate well.
Wow, that's definitely mind blowing for when it comes to health. Cause it's true. I mean, I'm a very health freak when it comes to water too. But some people are just like always just like food, food, food. But people don't ever really talk so much about water. But it really is getting, I think, more into conversations. So basically, people should just try to avoid distilled water and purified water and normal, basic water filters for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're if you can get have a water filter and you're getting some type of minerals that you can replenish your water with, that's great. I've tested most waters. I don't know the legality terms to everything, but when I test the waters that say they have minerals in them, with a conductivity meter, which is going to show me, it's going to light up a light bulb based on its minerals because minerals are
Mm-hmm.
electricity. And it pops up as it has no minerals. Like Zephyr Hills is probably one of the
Wow.
best that you could buy at like a gas station or a grocery store.
No way,
Yeah,
Zephyr Hills. Okay, perfect. Like they have that here.
yeah. But it only has maybe 15 to 20% of what it says it's supposed to have.
Wow.
So we have Pure Water Factory out here in Coral Gables. One that's really good that a lot of people can drink is called NDO water. You can even buy it on
Okay.
Amazon. Stands for No Days Off. But it comes from South Carolina, and it is I met the owner, and he expressed the process on how to deliver that water to a person, and
Wow.
it's beautiful. Yeah, so it's coming right from the mountains.
So basically, of all the popular so basically, if they're at a gas station and they see spring water, they if it's gonna have to drink it, like it's best to drink spring water. And if they have it, Zephyr Hills, would you say is one of the better ones to drink over like Fiji, Essentia, Smart Water? It's better than all of those.
I've tested Fiji and Smart Water, and with the conductivity meter, it didn't read anything.
Wow. So
Yeah,
Smart Water is not that
there's the
smart.
Mountain Valley. There's um,
That's in a Saratoga. What about Saratoga and Mountain
Saratoga,
Valley?
but to be honest, the Zephyr Hills popped up on the conductivity meter more.
In the
I,
sense of minerals in the water.
yeah, and that's but then potentially Mountain Valley and Saratoga are probably cleaner waters than Zephyr Hills. I wouldn't know that for sure, but at the end of the day, it's like it's none of it's producing what it says it's producing. So the best recommendation is to find good water or find minerals that you can put in your water.
Because like I have a fancy, very expensive reverse osmosis,
Mm.
alkaline reverse osmosis water filter at my house. So and I know for most people like maybe it's just not in their budget, or they're out and about all day, so they just can't refill their water bottle with it. I mean, I always walk around my big 1 liter water bottle, so I think I'm usually good. But like we've worried so much about like don't use plastic water bottles, don't use plastic water bottles. But what is a way that people can get the minerals without maybe a fancy water filter like I have, and they don't have pure factory or whatever water around them?
Yeah, just I mean, honestly, you can go on Amazon. There's a company called Beam Minerals, BEAM. It's a liquid that you just put in your water. So being able to get a cheap a filter for your filtered water, um, and just putting the drops of minerals inside your
Oh,
water, and it's that simple. Yeah,
wow.
and you can
Okay.
literally carry a little tincture, and every time you have water, no matter what water it
Like even
is,
tap water at the restaurant.
even tap water. Because
Okay.
really, if your body is mineralized where it's supposed to be, even the tap water that has toxins, your body's going to start understanding like how to flush those out. Your lymphatic system is going to be operating.
So people should people, let's say people that are not at the optimal health that maybe you are or someone else is, like we worry so much about the plastic water bottles and the microplastics and everything. Should people really be worried so much about it or before they get to optimal health? Or is it kind of just like a maybe like a not a myth, but maybe it's not as important as we think?
It's 100% very important. Like I had to stop all the plastics. I had to stop anything that had heavy metals in it. When you are unhealthy, your body hangs on to those things. So I had to stop them to then one day not need to worry about it. We always go through a season, and I had to go through a season to say, I'm going to be really strict for this period of time. I'm going to get my health back. Then when I got my health back, I realized I can do something once a week. I can eat a cheeseburger or
You can
drink
relax a
water out of it.
little.
Yeah, I can relax a little. I don't have to live in because everyone's running around like you can't do nothing right. Actually, you can. It's reactivating the communication network in your body. So it communicates when something harmful is there, so it gets it out. And that's where I'm I have an obsession with peptides, which are amino acids broken down that when linked together and bonded together, they're called peptides. And that's truly where we can start to activate our communication channels faster.
Wow. Yeah. That's like mind blowing about the water. Like to right now I'm drinking a little bit of a like plastic water bottle because like I left my water bottle at home. But since you told me I'm pretty healthy, I'm like okay to drink it if necessary. Also, at the end of the day, it's like water. You need a little water, you know. Like it was like I can't go 12 hours without water. But going back a little bit about the food thing. So when you decided to switch your head to like a healthier relationship with food, how did your body react to eating the normal amount of calories for your body size, you know, which is what, maybe 3,000, 4,000 versus 18, 20,000? Like, how did your body react to all of
Yeah. That's why, because of the damage I did, it took 2.5 years to really restore my body with the veganism for a year, the vegetarian for a year, 5 months for the fruitarian. So it took a long time. And when I started eating foods again, I had to eat them in a slower process. And I still to this day, like I don't do meat. I do. I try not to do meat after, say, 3 o'clock because it's still processing when you're going to sleep if you eat it at 8 o'clock at night. So I usually do one meal a day with meat in it. I don't consume a lot of meat. It's just harder to digest. And if it takes longer to digest, that's less time your body can work on healing its overall health and is focused on healing what you're eating. So a lot of people are running through life healing what they're eating, healing what they're eating. They eat, they're trying to heal it 4 hours later. They're not even digesting everything already. They're eating again, they're eating again, they're eating again. And so just learning to understand one, our body goes through seasons and asks for certain things. There's certain seasons where I'm actually doing way more vegetables. There's certain seasons I don't eat vegetables at all. There's certain seasons where I'll start eating more protein, but I'll do a lot of like raw milk because I have a Amish farm. They always say know your farmer, so I
that?
like to know I like to know the guy that knows the farmer at
Yeah,
least.
they're great there.
Yeah, but yeah, just understanding the body and what it needs. Sometimes it needs more meat, and it really grounds me and helps me with work, helps me with working out, helps me become the man that I'm becoming because meat actually does help your testosterone levels too as well. But then there's times where I won't eat meat for weeks or months. So just adapting to I don't know but my body knows.
But like, how do you know when you should cut something out or and increase something?
Every time I go in that store, like I mentioned, every time I go in that store, I go, what do I want this week? You know, and I have that conversation with myself, and even God. I'll be like, God, you might know something I'm supposed to eat that I don't even know. Not even my body knows. So just really staying on and focused on like what is my body asking for, and most people just don't know because they have inflammation. Chronic inflammation is pretty much the main thing that causes every disease in the world. You get chronic inflammation from water, you get chronic inflammation from the foods and what comes along with those foods, and even the oxygen and air we breathe. Um, so just paying attention to restoring that communication to ask what it needs. That's where a lot of people are like, you have to be this, you have to be this, or it's best to do this. Actually, it's best to do nothing the same. You know, Jesus never healed anyone the same way.
Oh, I
And
like
and
that.
and if he would have came the next day and healed you over something else, it would have been different too. So we have to understand that our body has to adapt to changes and grow into being okay with constant changes. So I don't know what I'll even eat today. Like right now, I'm in a season where I don't want to eat, but I do a lot of fasting too. So my body even tells me like I've ate for the last 3 days and I haven't wanted to eat, and I'm like, wait, am I supposed to be fasting? And he's like, yes. So like my body knows it's supposed to be fasting before I'm fasting. Um, but yeah, I love fasting. I actually fasted about 170 days last year.
In total.
Yeah, yeah.
So your food bill went from like insanely high to now being like pretty low, I guess you could say.
No,
No.
because the quality food that I eat is
Ah,
very,
yes,
very, very
very true.
expensive.
That is very true.
Yeah,
We shop at the same place.
yeah,
It's worth it though. It's worth it though.
yeah. Like if you buy raw milk, it's $15.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just not go buy the coffee from Starbucks,
Mm-hmm.
or go out to eat for every meal. But that raw milk is $15. The duck eggs are $15 for a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, a really good farmer that takes care of his animals, feeds the animals, because we have to pay attention to what does the animals eat before we eat them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And if the animal has stress in their body, in the way they live, we're going to consume that stress too as well.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that today too. I'm like, man, were these chickens happy before, they were slaughtered? Or were they very stressed out? And it made me think like, oh my gosh, am I putting their stress in my body? I'm so sorry, chickens. Like every time I pray before eating, I'm like, thank you, animals, for your bodies. And thank you, God, for these resources. Because it's so true. Like what they eat, we eat. And it's just like, wow, it just wows me.
Yeah, I studied the indigenous ways because I have Taino and Cree in me. So I've studied with indigenous a lot over this lifetime, and understanding like how they kill food. Like they don't eat meat every day because they have to kill an animal for it. When they kill an animal for it, they're gonna pray with it. You always see those movies where they're like, after it's hunted, like you stare at them in the eyes. So they're like, so the soul doesn't leave by itself. Like, but that's what they do. They want to be one with the animal when it's dying, and for it to not be alone, and it to feel safe, even though it's going through death. Because there's no animal or a person that wants to be alone if they're ever dying. So understanding like how the indigenous and the natives and many other cultures actually like hunt and kill, and they're hunting and killing their own prey, and they're eating it within that 24 to 48 hours, and they consume it. They probably don't have another kill for another week or two. And here we're putting food, injecting it with hormones and probiotics so it sits on the shelves, and then we're consuming it. And everyone's like, this guy takes steroids. I'm like, you do too.
Ugh,
Like
gross.
everyone wants, like, I'm like, if you're eating meat from any normal store, you're actually doing steroids.
Ugh,
Like everyone's consuming steroids. So it's just they actually look bulky by doing it at least.
At least.
Um, so I like to eat healthy foods, and that it's a lot more expensive, like $15 for a pound of turkey or beef. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's pricey, but I totally agree with you that it's so worth it. So back then, like, do you remember how much your grocery bill would be every time you went to the grocery because you would consume so much? And how often did you go to the grocery store? or maybe eat out depending what you did to just eat so much versus now?
Yeah, so it was a joke back then, but I because of how much time I had to spend cooking, eating, and the money, and even cleaning dishes and stuff like that, I actually launched my own meal prep company.
I mean, makes sense because you probably did spend so much time
Yeah,
just cooking.
so I got all my meals for free after that. It
Oh,
was
okay.
so if you looked at my refrigerator, I for almost 5 years you would see 60 meals. Like I would have 60 meals, and my daughter would have like 25 meals in the refrigerator. So
What?
that way I didn't have to worry about it. And it was already made, and I would just heat it up in a microwave, not even thinking about what a microwave did to
Ugh.
me. And that's what one of the main reasons it destroyed me. It was healthier food. Like the meal prep company was all organic to the extent of what is organic, um, but just eating it, overeating it, and doing it the wrong way. But yeah, I had to create my own food company so I could afford it, and then I don't know, like the company was profitable, but I don't know if I ever received that much profit because of how much my food bill was.
So, like, do you remember a number, maybe how much a food bill was? Like before the meal prep company, when you're just buying groceries for you and your daughter. Do you remember that number?
I mean, like all through high school, I, I and all through college, I had to find ways because I grew up in poverty. So high school, I got 15 meals before I left, and my at my second dinner, so not the 3 o'clock one, but the 6 o'clock one after sports, was at Subway, and my aunt worked at Subway. So I'd buy 2 foot long hoagies, and she would give me 2 foot long hoagies for free. So that'd be one meal was 4 foot long hoagies, and then home it would be always ramen noodles because I would just eat like 5 or 6 packs of ramen noodles and put canned chicken in it. So that was one of the downfalls is I actually ate fairly inexpensive. And then college, we had this place called Boozle, which is all you can eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That
So
was on campus?
yeah, it was like $15 all you can eat. So for $45 a day, I ate 18,000 calories, which was incredible. And I would just have, I mean, there's been times where I had 16 plates stacked up. Like all my friends, if you spoke to one of my college buddies, they'd be like, even high school, they'd be like, it was nuts. Like people would just be like, I've literally walked outside and actually threw up my food and went back inside and ate again because I was so upset that I threw up my food. That's how bad my food addiction was, and I didn't even know.
Wow. And because at the school they gave you so much food, and did you ask them, "Hey, I want five," or they just gave you a bunch of food?
No, my aunt worked there,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, it was they
And she knew that you
technically
ate a lot.
yeah, because my family. So she was like, "Yeah, why don't she actively said, why don't you get a job here so you can eat for free?"
Wow. And then did your friends were they ever concerned with you about eating so much?
I was cool for eating that much. Like they would brag about like this guy eats so much. I mean, it was something that they never even thought of could have a health issue.
Wow, especially because they would see you slim. They'd be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, he's fine. He's good."
and I'd purposely eat because they would like be like, "Oh, he eats so much," that I would be like, "I gotta eat more now," and want to like show off on how much I could eat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd get a
Wow.
large pizza. I would order 2 large pizzas by myself, so everyone would be like, "This guy," and I would just eat 2 large pizzas as the other 10 people ate 2 large pizzas.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, $45 a day is still pricey for a college student at the end of the week. I don't know how much a Subway footlong is, but when you're in high school, like, and you're at a low income level, it can add up. But I guess you did say it was pretty low income versus how much you ate, versus probably when you were older and you had to feed your daughter and you. I can imagine you grocery shopping at the store with like what, two carts full, just completely full of food, and just like eating all that at home. Like it's just I'm just like picturing that in my head.
Yeah, I to get my calories up to save money, I did a lot of rice and bagels. Like I would eat like sleeve of bagels, like 7 bagels a day, with like 10 cups of rice. So it consumed I wanted carbs. I wanted high carbs. So 7 cups of rice and 7 bagels a day was actually fairly inexpensive as well. But it's like the worst things to eat.
Literally, I mean, I love rice and bagels. I don't really eat them often, but they're so good. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then it took like 2.5 years just to get your body like back in stability mode. And was there any was there like a lot of like maybe physical pain that you felt when you were just like pretty much in the way you were detoxing for 2.5 years? Like, was your body in a lot of physical pain, just like or withdrawal maybe because you were eating normal calories for yourself?
Yeah. As I said before, I actually had the heart attack and all the issues. For 9 months, I threw up all my food. I lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and so even when I went vegan, I was eating one meal a day, still throwing up meals in the beginning stages. My body couldn't accept anything, and that's why my body was just shut down. So 100%, it took, and that's why it took 2.5 years, and even all the way going to uh, the way I see food is how long does something process? If you would like say throw up 7 hours after eating meat, the meat's still there. I know I've seen it because I would eat so much to where I'd throw up, and it could be 7 hours later and it would still be there. So meat takes a good 8 hours to really process. Um, fish is probably gonna be something closer to like 5 hours. Chicken and turkey maybe like 6 hours. Where red meat's gonna be a lot more, and then you have like vegan. The reason a lot of people ramp and rave about vegan and why it is so good for your health, they might not fully know their self. Um, you know, one, a lot of people say, well, they're not killing it. Actually, there's a living force in it, and they're killing the plants too. So everything has to be killed, other than milk and honey
Yeah.
and and bread, maybe a few other things. But it's something to where vegetables actually process a lot faster. Um, you Then you go down to like fruits. Fruits are going to process even faster. But I didn't even eat fruits. I drank fruits. Everything was smooth, blended. So I wanted everything processed within 15 minutes. So if I had a meal, it processed within 15 minutes. And if my next meal was 4 hours later, I had 3 hours and 45 minutes. My body was healing itself. So where a lot of people look at it as like, oh, what is the food? I look at it as how long is the food not going to be processing? And how long is it not going to be processing so my body can heal itself? Because our bodies can regenerate organs in days. Our bodies can regenerate, and like how you cut off a tail off a lizard, our insides are incredible. So I had to get to a state where I allowed myself to heal and do its natural state, which went all the way to being a fruitarian and just focused on, okay, if I eat every 4 hours, there's 3 hours and 45 minutes that I don't have to worry about healing what I'm eating, and I can actually heal what is wrong with me.
Yeah, you definitely have a crazy like healing journey when it comes to food and your insides. I know right now you're like in a fasting stage. You said kind of on I guess on a normal day when you don't feel like you're fasting. Like what? Take us through what your meals are like. I'm very intrigued now to see like how because you're still a tall guy, and you're like in shape, so you still must eat more than like regular guys, but definitely not at the extent you used to eat at.
Yeah, so I still follow that uh, a lot of the liquid diet. So I drink 3 gallons of raw milk a week. So with those 3 gallons, I'm getting enough protein for my body because I need the protein. But at the same time, I'm not processing meats. I love lamb meat. Usually I'll do one meat meal a day. Um, I go through my stages with vegetables. I go through my stages with fruits. Like right now, I think I've ate like one fruit in like 2 months. I love fruit, but for some reason my body just isn't requiring fruit right now. I even go to stores like I want that, and my body's like, we really don't. And I'm like, okay, I'll skip it. So my body's not requiring those things right now. So I'm real big with like I eat 96 ounces of raw yogurt. Um, yeah, 96
A
ounces of
day?
96 ounces of raw yogurt a week,
Oh, a
and
week.
then 3 gallons of raw milk a week, and that's like my go to. And then I eat one like beef meal from the Amish farms a week, and then eggs in the morning. I eat duck eggs in the morning, so that they're higher nutrition value.
And how many of those do you usually eat for breakfast?
Um, Not big, probably like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, 3 or 4 because I'll eat yogurt with it. And then I'll eat my lunch meal, and then I'll eat my dinner meal. So I usually stick with 3 meals a day. And a lot of people like that are working out, they're like, but what about like getting enough protein and consuming enough? That's why I do my milk. Um, when I'm eating my milk, I can gain as much as I want. Right now, I'm not lifting much, but when I am lifting, everyone's always like, how do you grow so fast?" And I'm like, milk puts
Raw
weight on
milk.
you. Raw milk puts weight on you. It's the trick. You just have to
Got
make sure you
muscles.
just have to make sure you're working out. Like I haven't drank raw milk in like 2 weeks because I haven't been really working out. Because you can get pretty thick if you drink raw milk and
Like
not
thick,
work
like
out.
muscular, or
No,
thick, like.
if you're not working out and you drink raw milk, you'll put the weight on.
Okay, that's a good tip though, because I'm
Yeah,
just starting to drink raw milk. I definitely don't want to get thicker.
you can
So,
definitely
but I
get
want my
bigger.
protein. So, just
Yeah,
with caution then.
yeah. My queen's like, I'm not drinking this milk anymore. She's like, it's putting weight on me. But for guys,
Wow. I'm
yeah,
mind blown.
yeah. It's like and a lot of guys know like how much like milk can put weight on you. Like it's faster than anything I've
But like
ever
real
seen.
milk. So, it's good to know real milk.
Well, the milk that are at the stores is pasteurized, so it
Right.
doesn't have anything in it. It doesn't have the bad things,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have the good
Mhm.
things. So that's why I
Mhm.
want the nutrition value.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people. Well, actually, last question about your food. How, like, what do you eat for dinner usually? When, like, since you say you prefer to not eat meat after 3 o'clock, like, what is your usual typical dinner? Maybe kind of.
Yeah. It's honestly usually yogurt and milk.
Oh,
Yeah. I do a lot of milk.
okay.
And then I get like chocolate syrup, like actual natural chocolate syrup. It's cacao and maple syrup from the maple trees. And I make chocolate milk. And to be honest, most of my dinners are like I'll drink like a liter of milk.
What? Wow, bro. You're
Yeah,
like mind blowing me
yeah.
today.
But it's just what my body needs in the season. It's been like that for. I did a 40-day fast, and ever since that fast, my body's been wanting milk. Yeah. But when it isn't milk, every once in a while I'll do meat and stuff. But um, yeah, I love my vegetables too. Yeah. So a lot of times I'll do a lot of vegetables.
And I feel like raw milk has become definitely a very popular addition to like the health industry in general. And there are a lot of people who are like, oh, well, it's not like FDA approved. It's not, that they're like arresting farmers. Like the whole, I feel like there's like a scandal with like raw milk. Like, what would you say are like the myths and truths of raw milk? I mean, I feel like you're saying already pretty good things about it in general because you're like, it can put the weight on you. It has a lot of protein. But what can you tell people about like the truth about raw milk?
Well, I mean, there's there's darkness and there's light in many things, and the darkness side of things is they're telling the truth. Like if you get milk from a farmer and they aren't doing and working through the proper channels, then 100% you can actually get sick off of it. I've drank milk and it just didn't even taste right. I've thrown it away. I Even the farms from here in Florida, like I'd get it and within 2 days I'm like, my body doesn't want this anymore. And sometimes I'd get it and just throw it away. And I really didn't consume that much milk when I got it from those farmers. But also at the same time, when I drink the store bought milk, it's just like I don't feel anything from it. And that's why uh, God aligns things that you request. If you ask for something, if you're seeking something, you will find it. And so I was seeking, how could I get better quality milk? How could I get better quality meats? And that's where I found the place where it gets it from the Amish farms. And it's so cool to hear their stories. Like the kids are the ones that milk the cows, and they're singing music to them, and that's their pets. You know, so I'm blessed to be able to get that food because I don't know what I would do without it, but God made sure He aligned it. Yeah,
He definitely like gave you that provision,
yeah,
to do that because for some people like health is just not a priority. Like financially they prioritize other things. Like it hurts my heart when I have friends who are like prioritize other things and then just go shop at Walmart for their groceries. I'm like, "Oh no, please like prioritize this instead of whatever else you're prioritizing." Like that drives me like bananas when I hear stories like that.
I always use an analogy like imagine if every like 30 people got a Lamborghini and they won it from their lottery, and they just picked up the Lamborghini. No one was there to meet them. A lot of them would probably put regular gas in it. And it's their Lamborghini. But yet, if someone tells you, hey, you need to put high octane in this, everyone puts high octane in their gas tank. And it's just crazy because a lot of times people just aren't eating healthy food because no one actually told them better. It's a bunch of people picked up the Lamborghini and they don't know any better. But once you can actually truly educate someone, they're going to put the high octane in their body, or they're just not going to drive their car and use gas. Like I wouldn't put regular gas, and I would call a tow truck to come pick it up if I had to put regular gas in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that's a great analogy about like people and health. Like I feel like I definitely always try to, you know, and like tell my friends about like health and everything, but people take with what they want. And so like I feel like a great way to wrap up the interview is like about the health scans. Like like I did a health scan with Dennis the other day. He said I was one of the top 5 healthiest people he'd scanned. So I was like super proud of that because I'm very like health conscious. And can you explain to people what these health scans are and how, people should just do it because it's just really can tell their story that can really impact their health.
Yeah. So what's nice is picking up the bioresonance. It actually scans the spine. It scans the positive, negative charges down your spine. So we hook up your ankles, positive, negative charges. We hook up your wrists, and we hook it up on top of your head to get that positive, negative charge. A lot of times, if we touch like a hot plate and go, ow, what people don't realize, it goes from your hand to here, down to spine, and back up in light speed. So the great thing is this machine, these medical devices, the scanners, are able to pick it up within 5 minutes and pick up the whole communication channel from your body. So it tests for, like, we always know if someone had an injury, I'll know, and I'll be like, how did you know? Because your body is telling me. If they have heart issues, one of my favorite stories was, I'm not going to believe this scan unless it has the one thing that I never told anyone about. It's just me and my doctor knows about it. The first thing I said was, you have heart issues, because he was like 30. And he goes, I believe everything you say after this. And even to all your organs, to vision, to hearing, to like down to your parasites, your worms, your fungus, your molds, your bad bacteria, and even knowing where it sits, to even understanding we're not what we eat, we are what we absorb what we eat. Healthy people eating healthy food doesn't mean you're healthy. It means we got to find out if you're actually even absorbing what you're eating. So understanding we are what we eat of what we absorb, and it discovers that. Also the biological age, and your whole nutrition panel, and minerals. It actually tests for your minerals too, so we see where your minerals are.
Yeah, and then from there you just give them like a plan just to kind of, I guess you could say, regulate the body just to get them at their healthiest self.
Yeah, so as it tells me a story, I understand how to see where the lack of communication is to restore the communication. So I work with peptides, and peptides are just the communication channels to the body. If you need to heal something, it's called body protection compound 157. It has the messaging codes in your stomach. If you need your immune system, it sits up here towards your throat area, and it's the T cells, and it activates the T cells, and it strengthens your immune system and gives you more T cells to go to battle, to war, for your immune system. If you need thymosa beta 4, it's in this area. Thymosa beta 4 is going to help organ regeneration, but more for musculoskeletal system too as well. And then, you have CMAX for the brain, and there's CJC, ipamorelin for, I call it the Wi-Fi connection in your body. Like, you'd have a good message, but if you don't have proper Wi-Fi, that communication's not getting out there. So it scans that, and I'm able to give you an action plan based off of everything that it shows us. I'm able to give an action plan that allows your body to start communicating properly. And it's by steps too, because a lot of people are like, I want this product. Well, let's take this, this, and this first before you even do this, because this isn't going to work without it. So like understanding like how do you actually take the medicines is very important.
And then do you see definitely a huge transformation of people's health after finishing these action plans?
100%. 100%. I always say if you would buy a land and want to build a home on it, and you say, hey, I want 3 stories, 3 bedrooms, white walls, you could live in that home. And that's what we're doing most of the time now. If you say, I want texture on the walls, 10-foot ceilings, Italian kitchen, hardware floor has to be gray. I want walk-in closets, each closet. I want a prayer room, and I want a bathroom in each bedroom, but also a bathroom downstairs. Now that's a house you want to live in. That's a temple you want to live in. So we have to restore our communication. And if if our body's not properly telling every single communication channel what to do, then our body's not going to communicate. So we have to restore that with understanding our story to then know exactly what we have to do when we have to do it.
Well, yeah, like I just did, guys. I just did this the health scan the other day. My parents did it too. I was really happy with my results. I'm so excited to get my action plan and talk to them about it, and just get to an even healthier level because I'm already pretty healthy. But I'm so excited to just like take it to another level. My parents are pretty excited about it too. Like I've been telling everyone about it. I'm like, you guys need to do it because I love holistic medicine, functional medicine. I just love. I believe that like to not completely cut out like the Western ways, but definitely lean towards more just like natural medicine because like you said, our body can do it so well on its own. It just needs to just get that little tune up inside. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this journey. Like, thank you so much, Dennis, for coming on and just like sharing your testimony, your health journey, like and like all the health advice before, in front of everybody. And what are some of the parting words you would like to say to people? Just any like last minute tip you thought of, or just like health myth you want to bunk? Any advice?
If you don't know your story, find out your story. Like you're worthy of knowing your story, to know what to do and actually live a life not just surviving, but like living it.
Amen. And I just want to pray us out as we go. Oh, dear Lord, thank you so much for this reunion, Lord. Thank you so much for Dennis's yes, Lord. Thank you for that journey, that crazy testimony that he's gone through, Lord. You don't know how much he's impacting the world and how much he's helping people, Lord. May this episode just bring a lot of clarity to people, Lord. May them just see their health differently. May them want to learn about their story more and just be able to walk forward with more clarity, knowing that you're by their side and knowing that their insides are just as clean and holy, just as you have been to all of us, Lord. Thank you so much for you. And thank you so much. Bless his life, Lord. Bless all the new things that are coming into his life, Lord. And just may he just keep walking in this very strong yes that you have given him, Lord. In your loving name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Actually, I did forget to ask you, what is next? Just the last little tip. What is next with your health, like career?
Really stepping into becoming a teacher of it.
I
Yeah.
can see that. You'll be a great teacher. Oh, this was so good.